it's more slapstick and action driven. So if that's what you wanted, I think you've succeeded. I think it is also very visual, very much reliant on basically the ethics of your actors. I'm not too sure about the final two scenes. It seems as though you were really, really into writing it, that you didn't stop it. Oh my God, I can't stop the writing it. I would have ended it just at the point where you proposed, you know. But again, because everyone knows that it's kind of like a parody of Lord of the Rings, so you kind of like let it continue. But yeah, I guess I'm quite also expecting this to be something more. I think again, you know, for all the writers here, I think to write something like that within 6 weeks is really, really tough. Last night we mentioned about a bit about story editing and script editing, and I think, you know, those of you are really keen to do that. Please go and do that, because I think it's a hugely creative process, and it's a hugely collaborative process when you go into script discussion with your director, your art director, your cameraman, and so forth. And then, you know, everything builds up very slowly, and you can see that your script has some kind of screen life. Always remember that the script is a blueprint, and then you use that to work on, you know, and evolve it. Having written something like that is a good foundation for people to actually hit on ideas. Yeah.
Okay, this was also very funny, and also had a heightened world, which I really loved. The way that you capture me is that Rob is this. I mean, stories about men who don't commit are they're constantly duds. So I would not want to watch this unless it was exactly what you did, which was he wakes up, he can't decide what toothpaste. He can't decide the shirt. He can't decide the toothpaste. He can't decide the cereal. And that's very funny and very visual. I love that. I also think there's things about the world that don't quite make sense, and other things that could be cut. So when Iris, for instance, when Iris is watching him on the video, I don't know what that adds to the story. That she's at the reception desk and the landlady, I don't get why that's so. You've already got one heightened element, the magic ring. And that magic ring is going to do stuff to Rob when he gets there. But I don't get why Iris I don't get why Iris needs to be watching him. She could be a 65-year-old receptionist, and she sees the ring, and she goes after him later. Then in the office, I felt like there were some missed opportunities when he comes in and Zoe is very enamored of him. If he had such trouble choosing which cereal, then I'd love to see him have trouble choosing which woman in the office. Like, he's attracted to Zoe, and then another woman walks by, and then that leads to Anna. And oh no, Anna's saying, it's not going to work, it's not going to work. And then maybe another woman walks by, and his attention is taken by that other woman. And then Anna says, you see, you know. And then I want to know if Rob really is sad about that. There's like a reaction shot that I was missing. Rob really does love Anna, right?
He does, but he's afraid of commitment, so he can't really get past it.
Yeah, so he's torn between, I mean, that's why we care about this, because he really has this thing where he can't commit, but then he also really loves Anna. So I just needed that reaction when she says, no, it's all over, and she goes, that he's devastated. And then I don't know why Melvin brings him the ring from the dad. That Melvin is, you know, that didn't make sense. I wanted to know something more than that. Either the dad could be dying and give him the ring and say, here, this is the best and the worst and the best thing that ever happened to me, here's this ring. And then he takes it and he puts it on at home. Or, you know, and I love that there's blood on the manila envelope, but I don't really get, and maybe this is just me, but I don't really get Melvin and in cahoots with Iris or Melvin, and then, you know, I don't know why Melvin comes into the story and why the father would pass it through Melvin, and why, and the screenplay is too short to understand why Rob says, "Oh, good riddance, you know, Dad died. Is Dad dead yet? Good riddance." I don't. That's a huge relationship that you bring up and you don't follow through on. So I either don't want the dad at all, or I want to see the dad give him the ring. And then I agree that the story ends when he I don't need the flashback, because it's just very funny when you see this this chaos go on and blood flying, and then Anna says, "And this cat even stole the ring." And, I mean, because we'll picture it. We don't need you to. We've already pictured it. We don't need you to do the flashback. I love in this perverse way that the ring gets thrown in the volcano, and that these characters go and watch it, and it's like Lord of the Rings. But I don't know why these characters would do that. Because the rule is that you set up is that the ring glints in somebody's eye, and they go after Rob, and they want to marry him, including Melvin. And that's funny that you have both sexes going after him. But I don't know why they would then, in this sort of way, go up to the volcano. It doesn't follow the story.
Straight off on that point, I agree with not needing the flashback. We don't need to see the cat take it. But that, I think, is possibly an alternate ending where you can say, you know, cat's stuck in the apartment and you finish up the love, love, love thing. Then your last scene, instead of the volcano, is the cat is all Gollum-like with the ring, you know, on its paw, or something, right? So the cat's going off and it's having lots of cat scenes or something. For me, I mean, you know, insane, funny, good. I think there's small things you can do to build. Like, for instance, there's nothing structurally different from Zoe's pursuit of him and the nurses. I would want to complicate it by he is in the hospital. He is like he's tied up to, you know, the monitors. He's got a drip on, and then, you know, then she goes for him. So when he escapes, he's pulling the drip. He's got, I don't know, you know, all these things with him. So exactly. It escalates it as opposed to it being the same. I agree with Wendy about there's a kind of a setup problem about, because your line is, it will attract suitors to you until you're married or dead. But basically, it's just a free sex ring, right? I mean, basically, you just get constant sex.
Desirable.
I know, but he could just pick all the desirable ones. Just think like a man. No, I think it should be like, I mean, if you set up the beginning, like, he will have no sex until he's married. Or everything bad will happen to him until he's married. You know, then I can believe it. Right? And one more thing. Okay, that's it. Thanks.
I think we can take just 5 minutes from the audience with any thoughts.
I kept thinking of why he doesn't wear a glove.
He doesn't know how it works. It doesn't really occur to him. Because it just quietly like goes around.
But no, Melvin tells him, right, that the ring is affecting it.
I mean, the conceit I used was that it is visual contact, but no one ever explains that to him. He just says it.
Is Melvin attracted to him because Melvin's gay, or do all guys get attracted to him if they say it?
He wasn't cats, so.
Process species.
Fine.
Is the voice for the ring leader?
I would have done it differently because it's supposed to be like. Yes. So the link, the parody of the Lord of the Rings thing, but yeah, it's more like it just happens quietly. Like he's hissing. He's not really clear. You can hear some hissing noise, but it's not. We don't really hear him saying very loudly like shit. It's a cat. Shit.
I don't know why did the landlady need a crowbar? I mean, you want to marry someone, you don't bring a crowbar, right? You want to give flowers or something like that.
But I thought it was an allusion to misery.
Same
Of
here.
course, right?
It was more an allusion to the fact that she's a landlady. Things that are lying around. They didn't try to get him in violent ways.
It did seem like they all wanted to marry him or they were going to kill him. You were showing us that, and I didn't read the line.
It's,
That-
Maybe that's the thing. They must marry you or kill you. But you know, there's I don't know why I know this, but there's a Jennifer Lopez music video. Which is exactly this conceit. It's within the last year. She goes out and she had a bad breakup, and then this wise concierge lady gives her this.
Oh, yes.
And she goes out in the street and traffic stops
Yes,
and all
she,
these
she
men
buys
are sort
this
of.
biscuit, it's like cookie or something, and then all the men go berserk and they chase after her. She gets into a car and then they bash each other up, and then they all do this huge like mob dance thing.
So you may want to either veer away from that or consciously reference it.
it's probably an aggressive interpretation.